suggest that.
Amazon's on pace for its 6th straight week of losses. Meta, its 4th straight. Microsoft, its 7th straight. You know, Joe Terranova looked at the Amazon slide that Josh is talking about, and he went in and he bought more of that stock. Retail flows from JP Morgan suggest massive NVIDIA and Tesla buying, offset by big Apple and Microsoft selling, which takes me to Kevin Simpson, who bought more Tesla. So the stock had a couple of days up. It's reversed yet again. You bought it at 226. Why was now the moment to do that?
Yeah, this is not a fundamental story. I didn't jump in when Josh said, let's not talk about Tesla.
What is it?
Pure price action. So you've got a stock that's down 52% at 226. We stepped in. We're still up $10 on it. But think about how I can own this name. It doesn't matter what the ticker is. I'm looking for volatility. So I can write calls against this. Bryn, you're on the show today. You write calls on it more than I do. This is a situation where, just like we did with MicroStrategy, no fundamental basis for it, but just harvesting a vol play. So this thing goes up another $10, $20. I'll be writing calls against it. We'll be out of it.
How far out of the money do you go with something like this, where it legitimately could bounce 20%? Like, so, how far out do you go?
So with MicroStrategy and Robinhood, we went a year out. That's what we're planning to do with Tesla. We want to write a 1-year leap. And we can write it, 10, 20, 30% out of the money, but it brings in massive premium.
Yeah.
The intent isn't to hold it for the year. The intent is to collect that premium and then close it out on a pullback. You can't own these names and think that they're not going to drop after they go up.
You couldn't care less if there's a longer lasting impact of drop in Tesla sales. You couldn't care less if they sell fewer in the EU. You couldn't care less what Musk says, tweets, does.
I wouldn't have enough time to pay attention. I couldn't pay attention to it. Wouldn't have enough time in the day.
I would say this about Elon Musk.
This isn't even an Elon story. This is like a tactical. It's a trading story.
But he's crafty, and he could come out with an announcement that takes the stock up 15, 20% anytime he wants to. What if he announces a buyback? They could authorize it. He never has to actually do it.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I would not discount the possibility that he's cooking up an idea to remind shareholders, hey, guys, I've made you a lot of money over the last 10 years, and I could do it again. And it don't take much with this name. We all know. We've all seen these episodes. Bryn looks like she's dying to get on this.
So I wanted to talk also on the options side. So different from Kevin, yesterday, when the stock was at 250, I sold the April 17th, next month, 270s, and got $13. And so huge premium. So I could do that, 10 times this year and make almost a 40% return just off selling 1 month out of the money calls because the volatility is so high. I think with Tesla, there's so much negative sentiment. I mean, there's just so much. But I promise you, let's talk about this in 2 quarters. The Juniper's rolling out all over the place. I think they're going to have very strong sales. They continue to have really strong adoption. It was the #1 selling car in 2024. And there has been so much negativity, just like there was too much euphoria at 460. There's a lot of negativity here, and I promise you that can change. And so when these numbers actually start to improve, I think it'll be 2 quarters to get 2 full quarters of the Juniper. I don't think the stock will be at 235. But that being said, you don't even have to do a 1-year leap. You can do a 1 month, 5 weeks out and get $13. And I think that there's been a lot of damage technically to the stock. And so to think that all of a sudden you're going to have this V recovery on the upside, I think is silly. It's going to have to build a base. It's going to have sentiment change. And you're going to have good numbers around the cars, because that is right now their business unit. So we can talk about autonomous, we can talk about et cetera. You need to see the Juniper actually flow through. I feel really confident the EU numbers and the US numbers and the Chinese numbers are going to change with the new model refresh.
There's been technical damage. There has been fundamental damage. Whether it can be repaired in short order is the question. The Microsoft thing, whereas Tesla is a price action trade, if you will, Microsoft feels like more fundamental. Stock just sold off too much.
100%. This isn't some crazy idea that you're just playing a leverage game. This is a business that we think has it went up too high. It's static for a long time. It's come down. The PE ratios are pretty attractive. Josh went through some of the numbers on these other names. Microsoft for us is an investment. We do have a short-term call on it, Scott. It expires next Friday. We have a 420 that we brought in $3.50. So again, kind of clipping some coupons here. But we believe in the Copilot. We believe in the AI, and we think this is a story for an investor, not a trader.
D.A. Davidson, they take the target up today to 450 from 425. They also look at the slide in the stock. It was the worst performing MAG stock in the 6 months since the downgrade that they had. So they feel like it's now properly reflective of what their fundamentals are. Apple, Woodring yesterday at Morgan Stanley took the price target down. It was a very big move. Not a big move in price target, but a big move considering the gravitas of the person who did it. Today, it's KeyBank, reiterated underweight. $200 is the price target. Worth keeping an eye on for certain. I mentioned momentum names. Bounces yesterday, sold today. Palantir, Reddit's down another 6%. Josh. CrowdStrike, AppLovin, Trade Desk, Vernova, Vistra, Vertiv, Dell, all red. Kevin Simpson buys more Robinhood. Why?
It's almost like a combination of the two stories we had before. You get massive volatility like the Tesla, but there's a fundamental story here, a serious fundamental story with Robinhood also. So when you see this thing go to the moon, we wrote leaps on that like we were talking about, Josh. More recently, we wrote 1 week calls, and then we bought it at $36 on Monday. Yesterday, we wrote a $38 call, so $2 higher. We brought in $3. It expires next Friday. If it happens to be a trade, it's on half the position. We make $5. If it expires, we bring our cost basis down to 33. We started buying this at 40 in December. We like this long term, and we like it as a trading opportunity in the interim.
A couple things to mention real quick. Adobe is a disaster today. It's a new 52-week low on the guide. You got stopped out of it.
Yeah.
So you got stopped out at the open. 392. You can see where the stock is now, 384.
What's the difference? What a horrible, horrible stock. And we've known this for quite some time. I may have been incredibly tepid on it. We've talked about it over the past few months. Fortunately, it was never a final trade. I always encourage people not to follow us into it. We're finally out of it. You can wait on something only so long. They have the user base. They're not able to monetize it with the AI. We bailed on the name.